Week in and week out, Sloppy Horror Podcast is here to discuss some of the most well-revered horror movies to ever hit the silver screen. But what about those that aren't universally revered as a classic? It's easy to take a film loved by everyone and praise it, but what about the movies that aren't loved by everyone? Is there a way to shine light on a forgotten and overlooked gem? Well, I sure hope so, because that's what we're going to do on today's episode. Folks, we're going to discuss the sequel to one of my favorite horror movies, Joe Berlinger's 2000 horror thriller, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Aside from being a perfect timestamp of my puberty, Book of Shadows has always had the ability to take me back to a time that was much simpler. And that's what our love for horror is all about, right? Escapism from reality. So boys and girls, let's pack our bags and get our feet on the ground. We have a lot of area to cover. So without any further introduction, here is our take on Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Boom! Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast, boys and girls. I am your host and your scary movie companion, your friend to the end. And I'm sitting here across from me from a distinguished gentleman that goes by the name of Ozark Mark. But he's not here for no reason. He's the best producer in the whole entire world. And he's great audio, you know, all the stuff you hear, audio and video, you could thank Ozark Mark. All right, I want you to go to his house. However you choose to thank him, okay? Do it now. Now, Ozark Mark, we're here. Big movie. There's a big turn at the end of this episode. We're not going to tell everybody, okay? Well, there might be a select few people know. On the Patreon, they know what's coming. But besides that, these kids are in for they're in store for a treat. But how are you, Mark? How are you? You all right? You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Fellas, I hope your blood's flowing good. Ladies, I hope your roast beef curtains are nice and moisturized, because you're in for a wild ride. I'm good. Your wife gave me some TV static before I came down here.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
It was good stuff. I'm going to be exploding all over my insides here. This stuff makes you burp like a motherfucker.
Oh, the seltzers, they get you.
It's nothing but carbonation.
They get you.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, we are talking about a fun little movie today, a follow-up to a legendary movie, and that movie is The Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. This is a controversial film, Mark. Some people love this film, some people hate this film, and there's even a step under it. There's people that like this film, and there's people that dislike this film. That's harder. Like a love it, hate it thing, you can just, okay, you either hate it or you love it. This is kind of different. Like, there's people that love it, like it, hate it, just dislike it. Like, there's like a lot of area there. So I've heard so many opinions on this flick.
Yes.
Had you ever seen this one?
No.
Okay.
When you originally told me that we were doing Blair Witch 2 on the phone, I thought of the 2016 one. I didn't know that there was... I remember there was a Blair Witch 2, but I forgot. So I've completely forgot about this movie. So no, I've never seen the second one.
This is the classic case we've seen with a lot of different instances, Mark. Even like a Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where it's just like, hey, we got a successful film, we need to follow up immediately. And it's out like less than a year.
Yeah, because this came out in 2000, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So that's not much swing time in between both. So, before we jump into the synopsis, what we need to do is, get all the formalities out of the way. So, all of our boys and girls watching and listening on YouTube, we thank you so much. Make sure you stay subscribed to the channel. If you like the video, leave a comment. Let us know where you're from, what's going on. I don't care what you comment, okay? If you're an audio listener, make sure you guys are leaving ratings, letting us know where you're from. But, more importantly, this is a show that has zero advertisements. We're going to make it through the rest of this episode, and I'm not going to sell you anything else, because I'm not going to lie. I've done sales a lot in life, and I don't want to sell my horror fans anything that isn't horror-related. So, we keep the lights on around here by having a Patreon, putting up bonus content. You'll find bonus episodes, and it's not just movies we're talking about there. We're talking a little bit about everything. Not to mention, we do have some merchandise. If you're trying to show the world that you're a sloppy horror just like us, there's a place to do that. Fun way to support the show, very affordable. You can find this all of this information underneath our YouTube videos. If the video is allowed to be monetized, it'll actually have the little advertisements for some of our merch. But if not, there is always a link down in the description. So we thank you, boys and girls, for rocking with us, and we appreciate you. So let's move back to the show.
We're back to the show.
Blair Witch 2.
Mark. Now, I'm kind of happy that you're watching this for a first time. Tell me this movie just doesn't scream 2000s. I mean, we lived in this time frame.
It's 100% 2000s to a T.
Isn't it weird that 2000s things are dated like that? Like, I know that sounds weird, but that was like middle school, early high school for us, right? You know, that's when things were like cool for us. And that was a decent amount of time ago, bro. Like, we're talking 23 fucking years ago. And I'm like, it just still feels like a hip movie, like in my mind. And then when you go back and watch something, you're like, fuck, dude, we're getting old.
Yep.
We are aging.
Yes, it's a sad sight. It's a sad sight to see. But, you know, the opening credits, some grunge 2000s style music there.
Oh, yeah. There's some good music throughout it.
Cheap After Effects. Subtitles and stuff. Scream 2000s like a motherfucker. Now, like I said, this is my first time watching Blair Witch 2, which kind of surprised me because I love the first one, obviously. We did an episode. Strangely enough, we did the first Blair Witch almost 2 years ago today. Just 1 day difference before it comes out. Kind of ironic.
There's a leap year in between, so maybe it's the same amount.
I don't know. Ooh, fucking freaky. But, yes, so obviously it's different style than the first one was. So I think that's the main reason why I believe a lot of people who dislike it for that reason. But I like what they were trying to do. Like, I like the fact that they mentioned the Blair Witch film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes sense that the town's overrun by tourists looking for the movie. People obsessed with the movie. That makes sense. People go into those goddamn woods. Makes sense. You know, all that stuff would make sense. So I like the premise of what they did. However, you know,
it all adds up.
There's some cheap acting in it. The story's kind of, but
there's some great reasons for that.
But I think if you are a horror fan, this is always a nice one to throw on every once in a while when you feel like laughing.
And you need some smut. Now,
yeah.
For my boys and girls who haven't seen this movie, I will give you a quick synopsis here.
Tell me about it, baby.
So this movie is like in like real time, okay? This is almost like the Blair Witch was, not like not a found footage per se. There are elements of that, but what this is...
Well, they claim it to be found. Well, they claim it to be found footage in the beginning, right? But they try to state like these are reenactments of something that happened.
Right.
So they tried to play that string a little bit.
So they're going off. This is like right after the Blair Witch Project movie came out, and it's talking about this little town of Burkittsville. And how it's just getting overrun with tourism and people since the movie came out. And they're like, look, we got an innocent town. There ain't nothing wrong with our woods. And there's a few different people. I'm trying to remember what that other group was called, but there's a guy named Jeff. And Jeff runs like a little tour group. He's kind of obsessive with the Blair Witch Project movie, but he's a local. So he runs a little tour group throughout the woods, shows some people some places. And he ends up getting a group of people together, and they end up going out in the woods. They end up kind of partying and getting fucked up, but they black out, and they wake up. They have no idea what happens, and they realize, they go back to Jeff's place, but they video record it the whole night. And they are eventually watching all these videotapes and realizing the night they had before was not the night they thought they had before. And they were doing some witchcraft shit. And it's kind of got a fun little twist at the end. You do actually see a Blair Witch in this movie, so we can give some creds there.
Which one was the Blair Witch?
The little girl. That's who this whole thing is.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, the little girl and stuff. So you do get some of that going on, but it is like an actual movie. Not there are elements of videotape, but I will tell you, this isn't going to be a what do you know fact here. So the guy who directed this movie, I want to make sure that I get his name down right. This is Joe Berlinger. Or yeah, it's Joe Berlinger. Okay, I wanted to double check on that because he made a film that was more close to the original film. And there are parts in this movie that feel close to the original. You remember the opening where they're like interviewing the different people on the streets and shit? There are parts where you can tell that Joe was like, were his parts. But there was some distribution rights with Artisan and Haxon, and Artisan owned it, and they essentially stepped in and reworked Joe's movie after he had already made the thing he liked. They went in and added a bunch of shit that felt more like 2000s movie.
Yep.
So they kind of fucked it up a little. I would have been very interested to see Joe's original film. And, you know, there's certain movies, too, like where I dive in, especially like these random sequels, because, you know, obviously everybody knows, you know, the original directors for the first one. You know, who directed the first The Nightmare on Elm Street, Mark?
Wes Craven.
Who directed the second? No fucking idea. That's usually how people's mindsets are. Yeah, I mean, the first one you always know.
Yeah.
And then usually the people themselves don't know it's a great idea. They'll hop off. Very rarely do I think you have like a Sam Raimi who's just like committed to Evil Deads, and it doesn't always work that way, or it didn't back in the day. So I don't know. It's just kind of it's interesting looking into this story and seeing that this dude actually wasn't. The dude making the movie understood the assignment, and he was really trying to mimic the first one and be respectful to that. And I guess those elements still do show up. They're a large part. I mean, it's what this man filmed. So they just added pieces. How much footage did they add? I don't know. I don't know all in all, but he wasn't happy about it. And if you listen to the commentary, he kind of goes into it and goes into detail how was not a fan of how they changed his movie. Which, unfortunately, that happens. This movie falls in I've got blinders on with this movie because this movie came out like right at an age where I started to touch my dick. You know what I mean? Like where things started to get cool in life. You know, we were skateboarding, riding bikes. We thought we were jackass, okay? Jumping off roofs into pools and shit. Just fun times. And I remember watching this movie. And enjoying this movie, not necessarily being scared, but it was a fun concept. I was still young enough where it could like get my heart rate a little, not terrify me. Like, yeah, me and the boys are gonna watch a movie, but then y'all are watching it like, like all of y'all are kind of scared, but nobody's gonna say it. Nobody's going to the kitchen by themselves. Come on, guys, let's get something to eat. Like everybody's scared, and that was kind of how I felt when this came out, because I think it would have been like 6th grade for me. And I don't know, just a cool time frame in life. So I kind of have the blinders on because I do enjoy this. And I don't all the way think it's a Halloween 3 situation either. Now, granted, it is a different change, but, you know, I think The Curse is such a different, like when you're talking Halloween 3, if it would have been, The Season of the Witch, if it would have just been called Season of the Witch and it wasn't called Halloween 3, a lot of people would have looked at that movie different because it's not really Michael Myers involved, which, whatever, I don't mind. I look at it this way. But this, I'm not saying it's the best sequel, but that 2016 movie you mentioned, that one was hot ass. It was not good. Like, bad. It was just bad.
It was, well, I want to say it was bad. I mean, it was, there's things that they did with it, but I don't know. Maybe we'll do an episode on that other in time because it's still watchable. That one is, but you know, obviously you can't. It's hard to.
Once again, I got the blinders on with the first too because I'm such in love with it.
Yeah, but I mean, I like how, like you said, if they just called this book as Shadows or something, hey, not put Blair Witch 2 on it because when you put Blair Witch 2, people are expecting more than that. But
I'm
they
not
did,
as mad with this one.
No, because they did. The Blair Witch curse still is in it. The Blair Witch fucked with them. It happens. Like, they had Blair Witch shit in it.
Yeah, I didn't give a good synopsis there. It's like they start to go underneath some kind of like psychosis where, like, you know, they're like, they don't remember what's happening. Like they start seeing shit, and shit's different. Once they look at videotapes, they realize they said and did things different than the scenes were acted out.
And it's a great I like the concept of it. Mm-hmm. You know, I just don't think budgeting and stuff kind of made it a little bit more cheesy. Made it more of a comedy to me.
It was like almost a good movie. It was almost a good movie.
Almost. It's a C+ at best, okay? Like, it passes, but ain't nobody excited about it. You ain't tooting your own horn about it. Like,
it's a blowjob with teeth, you know? It's like you got...
I like a blowjob with teeth, though.
Not
the
too
scrapes.
much. Not too much.
I like a little bit of scrape every once in a while.
Not too much.
Now, I haven't had an old lady gums one, so I don't know what that's like. I've always had teeth in mine, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
well, yeah, I don't want gums. But you know what I'm talking about. I got big teeth. And,
you don't want gums?
I'm just saying you don't want your shaft all fucking, teethed up, dog.
Nah, you just want like a little nip.
Yeah. Well, oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, if it's playful. Because if not...
Just a little scratch, you know what I mean?
But if it's like a scrape, I'm throwing bows.
This is borderline of it.
Why would you do that?
So, but I think horror fans enjoy it. I think they do, and it's also funny. Like, it's very fucking funny.
It is funny.
Let's go into our favorite parts about it, since we're on the topic. My favorite part is there's a lot of funny parts that made me laugh, but the last 3 minutes are hilarious. And you were watching before I came down here, and you and me were laughing hysterically at it. But my favorite part is when they're in the interrogation room and there's a sheriff here. That
Sheriff Craven.
Sheriff Craven, fucking hilarious. But he goes. What's the main character guy's name? Jeff. So Jeff's in there getting interrogated. They take him in. They're arresting him for the murders. And he goes, I ain't no documentary filmmaker. But I took your tapes over there to the Montgomery College and slapped them together.
Dude, that guy talks in such like Yosemite Sam.
Dude, he's got the most unique gap teeth. It's not even chipped teeth I've seen. Chipped teeth. It's like, you notice his teeth? It's like somebody shot a BB gun, like when he was smiling. It's like
you talks different now, like with a cadence that's unpredictable, and you don't know how long it takes him to say words. You're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm very confused by your tactics.
Yeah, but I ain't no documentary filmmaker.
Slapped your videotapes together up at Montgomery College. Yeah, that guy is something else.
I liked Jeff's front door alarm system that he had. When you open the door, it's just dogs barking. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fun.
Big dogs too.
Yeah, like Rottweiler, German Shepherds.
That's effective.
Yes.
Like, that's just like, that would paralyze you with like fear. If you open up a door and it was, you're like,
oh yeah,
you're turning around like instinctively. Like, you're not running into that.
Oh yeah.
You're shutting the door, too.
What about you?
My favorite part?
Yeah.
This is really interesting because I don't think I've thought really in detail about this. I do like the beginning part. I thought that really hit the nail on the head as far as like picking up the vibe right where Blair Witch left off. I liked when they were in the wood. Like, as far as funny part, I liked when they were in the woods and they found those tourists and there's like German couple and like a Chinese couple. And like they like made these people very stereotypical, because like the Chinese people in movies, like back in the day, they don't always have like a camera or like whatever. And these guys are like, "Oh, Blair Witch," and it's just like, God damn it, guys, why you do this? don't it's a Blair Witch. And like, don't do that.
No, this movie is cheesy, but I like some parts of it. Like, the acting is not the greatest in the beginning.
No.
But I found myself getting sucked into their acting towards the end. Like, last 15, 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, it does. It progressively gets better.
Yeah, their acting gets better in the more intense parts, I think.
And the creepy shit is cool. Like, the creepy shit is cool and creepy. It passes the horror vibe. Like,
I liked when they figured out. Well, first, a funny part was when they're reviewing the tapes. That's what they do. They go back there and they start reviewing the tapes, trying to figure out what happened. Mm-hmm. So then they found like a couple frames of something like whirling around a tree. And they're like, what is that? And Jeff goes, that, my friends, is a naked lady twirling around a tree. So they see that, but then they figured out to reverse the tapes. So I like when they finally showed you, when they played it in reverse and they show you actually what happens and what they were actually doing. Mm-hmm. Thought that was a cool part. Mm-hmm. So they were just doing some real voodoo ritual stuff, banging.
Some witchcraft.
Witchcraft. banging each other, doing all kinds of weird shit.
I like
it. It
that.
showed that they were the ones that went and killed the tourist couple that they ran into, and the reveals at the end were kind of cool, that she killed the clerk, and they pushed her off, and how the psychosis of the Blair Witch was actually fucking
That girl Erica was just like naked the whole time.
Yep, that's a plus.
That
Very
girl's
good plus.
name is Erica Learson in real life. That's the actress's name. She was cool too. You remember she was in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake?
Yeah,
She.
I thought I recognized her from somewhere.
Yep, she got cut up with the chainsaw.
Yep.
She got cut up. She was in the van.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Biel tried to get out. She was trying to start it. She had that white beater.
If you was a single man, would you date a Wiccan?
Look here. I like it depends. It depends to what level of what level. Like if you're like thinking you're going to combat me with your whatever. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna knock your little rocks and shit over. I'm not playing your fucking games. I'm coming in here with Jesus, homie. I'm not
knock your little.
But like if it's like more of like I just like little stones and I like Fleetwood Mac and lighting incense and shit. Like yeah, that's cool. I like that shit. Like I'm all about that. You got a couple cats and whatever. You don't shave your beaver all the time. Whatever. Like what? Yeah, I get down. You like sweaters and
It's like
holding coffee mugs with two hands.
It's nice when they got a little patch down there. You get a little itch on. If you got an itch on your nose, you can itch it.
Sure. Yeah. But it just depends to what level. Now, Gothic is something different too, because Gothic for sure. But if you're saying just witch, like actual, like I'm a practicing Wiccan, it depends to what level. Like, depends to what level.
Yeah.
Like, do we got to do, like, you're doing some shit at dinner time, some, like, weird seances and shit. Like, I got to bury, like, a dead bird in my garden. Or, like, I'm not doing that shit. We're not getting weird. All right? We got neighbors and shit.
My grandma used to make me bury fish in the backyard when they died.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That's not their environment, Grandma.
No.
You flush them because that's their environment. They go back to water.
I guess so.
Yeah. Like, you go into dirt when you die. Like, you go into, like, the worst part of the earth. Like, the dirtiest part you literally go into. It's called dirt. Okay? That's where you go. Okay? And that's where the fish go. Into the dirtiest water. That's just the way life works.
That makes sense to me, sir.
You're out of the
Your
dirt.
logic is flawless.
Yeah. I mean, it just makes sense. Now, the question to you, Mark. Would you date the witch? Would you date the Wiccans?
Erica?
No, just any Wiccan in general. She says, "Hello, Ozark Mark. I've been a long time fan of your producing skills, but I feel that the moon is in the right place for you and I, for the bloodstone to come together. I've had this premonition this morning."
I would need to see some proof of some spells, and I would see what kind of spells and shit she's doing.
What if she's like an 11?
I don't know what's that out of. What's the highest level?
Like 10, but she's like an 11. What if she's like drop dead?
Ooh.
And she has like a job.
Ooh.
But she's like really into it. Like it would affect your livelihood. Like you'd use different soaps and shit. Your kids would have weird ass names and shit.
Oh man.
That's Excalibur. Like what the fuck did you say? His
all
name
right, well,
was?
how hot is she?
Like I'm saying, like she could be in magazines. She could be like but not. She isn't. She's just like everyday job, but she's at like an 11. She gets,
Yeah, I deal with it.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. There's pluses to it. You don't have to buy soap anymore. She just provides the shit. You don't have to go to the grocery store anymore.
Why the fuck is there an onion under the bed? Leave it.
All right, whatever.
What the fuck? Like,
Why don't you give me one of them wicked blowjobs?
Yeah.
You fucking Wiccan.
You're like,
I ain't wearing no damn mood ring, though.
nope.
Nah, but she could, like, do some cool spells. I'd try to, like, manipulate her to, like, make this sports team win on my bet. If they could do that shit, fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. All I gotta do is never cross her. Mm-hmm. Which I probably won't do anyway. That's all you gotta do.
Grass.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You'll never have to buy her a car because she just flies on a broom. Like, there's things. Like, that's one less car insurance payment. Okay, it's not bad. I think I would do it, too. I think I would. Mm-hmm.
Just makes life all worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
It's just things you gotta do.
Yep, I'll give it a witch goo. You know what I mean?
The witch goo.
Witch goo.
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
It's no big deal. This is good stuff here.
It's great stuff.
We're covering witches. We're covering sequels.
How pissed off would you be if you lived in a small town and some movie happened and it had all these tourists coming into your town?
I think I would have took the approach dude did with making some money.
Oh, yeah, I would have capitalized like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I like in the part the sheriff's like, there ain't no goddamn Blair Witch. Get out of these woods.
Meanwhile, Jeff's like selling like little stick guys and hats and all kind of shit. I would too.
He cracked me up. He's like, yeah, I wasn't here when the first movie happened because I was in the hospital. But it was great.
Yeah, he was crazy.
Yep. Yeah, he was selling sticks and rocks and all kinds of shit. He was a hustler.
Yeah, you got to capitalize on this, man.
I would definitely capitalize. I would make a Blair Witch cafe.
Ooh. I'm about to make that right now. I think it'd be successful.
For sure.
I'd go there.
Oh, yeah, and I would sell coffee because it's all gothic people that
And
love
weird little
coffee.
soaps.
Yeah. Incense. Just all that stupid shit. Yeah.
Shit for cats.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is a little
I would
sweater for your
I would
cat.
capitalize like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Don't sleep on them little Harry Potter nerds, dude. She'll get, you don't sleep on them.
No.
They'll get weird. They're into fantasy shit.
Oh, absolutely.
You just got to watch out.
Yep.
You just go watch out.
Watch out for it.
Yeah, man. So, with your first time seeing this, let's just really break this down. What would you say is the scariest moment?
Scariest moment.
Not saying you were scared, but per se,
Right.
like if you were to say the most frightening moment of the Blair Witch Project 2, Book of Shadows.
Probably. What is the scariest moment here? Probably when the other guy, the couple,
Tristan and
what's the guy's name in the movie? The other guy. When
Steven.
yeah, when Tristan is walking around all fucked up and starting to like recite the witch's dreams and all that shit, that's when shit starts to take a turn. That's when it starts getting real creepy and shit.
It does get weird.
But then, it's even more eerie watching the fact that at the end where they show the footage of them pushing her off the balcony to hanging her, in their eyes, they thought that she was possessed by the witch. Turns out she wasn't. So her fear and her getting pushed off, her innocent death is kind of eerie,
Yeah?
too. So that would kind of be like, make you feel like, oh.
She's coming back as a ghost for sure. She's terrifying.
100%. Yeah, there's really not any really too scary moments. There's some eerie things in there.
That little ghost girl popping up was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that so many times that I'm just fucking numb to that.
Yep.
Like, that's not scary anymore. But I'll tell you what, boys and girls, it's important to do some pull-ups in your life because this man goes across the bridge, and of course the bridge breaks. In their eyes, of course, but the bridge breaks, so the dude's hanging there, and he can't get back up. Now, all you have to do is pull your body weight up once, okay? So do some fucking pull-ups. You'll get out of that situation.
Yeah, dude.
All you gotta do is pull your body weight up,
Could you imagine?
not being able to do one pull-up.
Yeah, that's
You have to be at least,
in life or death.
Yes, that's why you have to practice. So if you can't do a fucking pull-up, you need to know how to
I
do a
could have
fucking
swung
pull-up.
my legs up that motherfucker, bro.
He could have climbed. He could have gripped his toes on the side and climbed up, gave
Bro,
himself
I
support.
would have pulled the, you know what I mean? Get your
Yeah.
fucking, I would have been up in there,
You
bro.
gotta be able to pull your body weight up, all right, at least once. So anybody listening here, go to any bar that you can find above your head. Just
Not a
pipe.
drinking bar.
Yeah, no, not a drinking bar. Just not a pipe, but just go to a fucking gym and see if you can pull your body weight up. This is not so you get in shape. I'm not telling you to do that, but to get yourself out of a sticky situation, you gotta be able to do a pull up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's freaky. That's freaky to think.
It's freaky to think.
That's going to be like the way Marco's out now. He's going to be hanging from something and he can't do the pull-up because he's so tired. Fuck Yeah.
No, I'm gonna be able to pull myself up. God damn it! I
Hey.
prep for these situations.
What we'll probably talk about at some point. You hear about that movie Fall, where they climb that big ass tower, and they get stuck up there.
That's scary.
Oh, dude, it's like it's a good one. If you I mean, that high, anybody's afraid. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't care if you're afraid of heights or not. That's crazy heights. That's some other shit there. So
Yeah.
that's a good one. But there are moments where it's like the pull up time, and it's just like
Pull your bitch ass up.
it's all the pressure.
I thought it was ironic that he had a gun in the house the whole time and then didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they did that.
Yeah, everybody was naked too. Everybody just wound up naked. That's how you know the party was fun.
Yep, Jeff had the traditional 2000s little mini tattoo on his back.
A lot of 2000s tattoos.
100%.
Some tramp stamps.
Yep.
Hey, we were there for the good times. We were there for the jean skirts.
and the bad times.
Remember jean skirts?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, you're rocking a jean skirt. You pull it off.
Oh, yeah, back
Hello
yeah.
to you.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways.
It's just a different world.
Anyways, I want to learn the facts about this movie, though. What do you say?
All right.
Hello there. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is a segment of the show where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Here's a rundown of what's going to happen. We're going to tell you facts about this movie. That's it. So, tell me something that you may or may not know about this movie here.
Look here.
Yeah.
Do you remember the original Blair Witch Project?
How could I forget?
You remember how they had the same names, right? So the actors portrayed themselves and they used their names,
That's correct.
right?
Yes.
Well, guess what?
What?
Same case, Blair Witch Project 2.
No fucking way.
All the actors got the same name.
Wow.
Except this movie had a script. The other one really didn't have a script. So, boom.
It's pretty easy to act when you're using your real name.
It is.
I like the little homage they did right there.
That was pretty fancy.
That's a great fact. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So you got some stuff for me
Makes
down
my
there?
balls tickle. I love it.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I have a fact here. So,
Okay.
there's a scene in the movie, all right, where Erica, you know, the smoke show redhead, hello.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Yep. I put it in all three holes. Now,
Oh.
she is naked through half the movie, okay, which is another thank you. But there's a part in the movie where she disappears. She disappears. They don't know where she is. They look out the window. They see her, and she's outside. You know what she's doing? She's dancing around the tree. She's also dancing around the tree in the video when they were doing some witchcraft stuff. So she's dancing around the tree a couple times. You know why she's doing that? You know why they did that?
Why is
It's
that?
not, there's a reason behind it.
Okay.
Okay, then what they did it, they referenced it to Evil Dead.
Oh.
Remember when she's dancing around the tree in
Evil
Evil
Dead
Dead
2. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Evil Dead 2 there, yeah.
Yes,
so
I
it's a
remember.
nice little homage, tip of the hat. Keep it all close and conjoined here like a family reunion.
That
It's
was a
great.
pretty fun scene when she went out in Evil Dead 2. She was dancing around.
Yeah.
Okay. It
Yeah.
almost looked like claymation. It looked horrible, but it was funny and cool.
Yeah, it was claymation for sure. It looked horrible. Awful. Straight awful. But the awful makes it good.
It does. It
Awful
does.
makes it great.
Those are great facts.
Those are great facts.
I like that.
This may be a world record for the shortest. What do you know?
But that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
2 facts for the 2 movie.
2 facts for 2 movies on the 2nd season of the Tools.
Yeah.
Triple Dose.
Yes, there you go.
That's what they like to call a quattro and a half.
I like that.
I love that too.
1, 2, 3. No big deal. Mark,
Yes.
we have not referenced how there's a fucking owl in this movie like the 4th kind. You know the owl? That's scary, man. Not only did they eat the owl, but dude, she was staring out the window looking at the owl.
Did they eat the owl?
They did. They ended up eating it. Well, there was a part where he was like visioned the girl eating one, but it was just KFC. She just was eating KFC.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. It was Kim.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, so.
Every time I see an owl, I think of the old Tootsie Pop commercials.
Yeah, I think that are aliens.
Yeah. I like the Tootsie Pop better. It's a better happy memory.
Yeah?
It only takes 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop, thanks to Mr. Owl.
I don't think the kids know that one.
Well, they better learn.
Yeah. It's a great commercial.
It's perfect.
I mean, they're still in business.
I wonder how many licks. Do they ever figure out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Who licks it is what I want to know. Like, who sits there and I would fucking arrest that person if I saw someone licking a sucker. If it's not in your cheek.
If this was my only job, that's the one of the things I would do. I was like, get the camera, okay? We're just going to go somewhere in public and just lick a Tootsie Pop. See how many people look at you strange, because they wouldn't know what to do, because it's not normal.
Yeah, because then you got to go like, it would look super sus, because you'd have to go on different sides and go up it and down it. You'd have to get all that shit off there.
I could not keep a straight face if I was having a conversation with somebody and they were just licking a lollipop.
Especially when them big ass ones.
Well, the big ass ones you have to lick like that. But I'm talking about like, you can't fit that in your mouth unless you're very skilled. But
what a strange candy. This is super fucking hard. And we want you to throw this large, hard object with a stick in it in your mouth. You're like, why? What is this? Well, you gotta wait till the inside. What is it? Is it something good? No, it's stale chocolate or it's stale bubble gum.
What was with the guy on the floor in the convenience store? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, staring up skirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was working on the refrigerator. And
he was working on the refrigerator the entire movie.
I know, just staring up skirts. He's a weirdo. One of those weirdos, huh? That was him.
Yep.
That was 100% him. He was a strange guy. I don't have any answers for him.
Okay. I was just asking.
No answers for him. He's just strange. Something ain't right with him.
Strange.
Strange things are happening to me. What was wrong with that guy's voice that sang in Toy Story?
I don't know.
Why did he sing like that?
I don't know. Oh, God.
When I was little, I used to think it was Woody singing it. At first. But
Really?
It's not. Yeah, like real little.
That's not even close.
I know, but I thought it was Tom Hanks, singing his...
Oh, man. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Would you party in the Blair Witch Woods? Blair Witch Woods? Would you party in there?
Oh, yeah.
At the foundation site?
Drink some witch goo, go out and party up, have some fun, dog. I would. I actually traveled to this part of the world, okay, and I had looked at certain areas. As a kid, my parents were into the first one, so we kind of like went around areas. We weren't camping in the fucking woods, but I would.
Right.
I would, but it's also America, so I'm coming strapped, like just in case it is a deliverance situation, because if it's people, I can answer that.
Yeah.
I have an answer for that. If it's ghosts and witches, all right. Well, I mean, we'll come in here with Jesus and a Ouija board. We'll use whatever we got to get to the bottom of it. But I feel a lot safer if I had a weapon and a pistol and a Bible. I'd go out there with the strength I need to come out a winner. But, these people didn't get lost. First people were idiots. Dummies.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I did like the fact that they weren't stuck in the woods like the first one. It was a different take.
They just woke up like, yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah.
And they did.
Why was the papers flying everywhere? I was like, I didn't understand that part. Like, I get that they ripped up all their documents and stuff, but where the fuck was it all coming from? It was like snowing documents.
Yeah, it was.
Kind of weird.
Witches, dog. They don't make sense.
I guess they don't.
No rules apply. Like
No.
this, yeah, and you need witch movies, okay? It's an underrepresented category because it either goes to like a kid witch movie, which, okay, cool, Hocus Pocus, whatever, dog, Halloween Town. They're cool. I like to watch them with my kids. But I want some like more like Rob Zombie Lords of Salem. I want a movie like this or Blair Witch. I want some cool witch legend movies.
Yeah, it's either one or the other. There's no in between.
Wizard of Oz, you know what I mean? Or The Craft.
The Craft.
I like The Craft.
Yeah.
Craft's fun. Craft. Yeah, that's good.
The Craft.
I don't know where this would like sit as far as like within like witch movies, but we don't have a lot of witch movies. So if I were naming off witch movies, this would probably come on the list, probably right around 7 or 8.
Think so?
Yeah, for witch movies for me though, because there's not a whole lot as far as creepy witch movies, not kids movies.
Yeah, I mean, there is. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more. Obviously, there's a lot more than I don't know, but the ones I know, yeah, probably. It's a fun little ride. Fun little ride of a movie, I would say.
She's the witch, bro.
Good guy, Jeff. Mm-hmm. She's the witch, bro.
Yeah, his dialogue. I mean, it's all so 2000s. It's so much fun in that regard. If you have if you yearn for the time of your youth and you like looking back at that time frame, and you might enjoy this. If you've never seen this, you may enjoy this. I can't.
You have to look at it in the right perspective, though.
For sure.
You have to understand what it is. You understand that this is going to be a C+ picture. This is not going to be like the first Blair Witch at all. It's going to have the Blair Witch curse in it, but it's an actual movie this time, not found footage style, and it's,
And it's kind of its own movie. Like, I can't really think of like any other movie this movie reminds me of. It's just it's its own thing.
No, I mean, you can make different adaptations of and have Blair Witch in it, which I think they tried to make a good attempt of it, but
It was almost a good movie.
almost for the rest of America. For horror fans, I think it's a little bit higher ranking, but what do I know? I'm
Yeah,
just
now-
a producer. I don't know.
Not saying that there's not horror elements, but as far as like a movie,
Yeah.
like acting and like whatever, just it's like right there at the point where like the general public would be like, this is a legend, this is awesome, I love this flick. But I don't think it gets talked about enough.
Well, let's put it to the test here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating system.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Yeah. Ha. Ho. Hee. You are here with us. You have traveled into the opposite dimension of where we rate the movie here at the Sloppy Horror Podcast. We give it the Sloppy Horror Podcast stamp of approval right up in your ass with the world-famous Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Now,
Yeah.
this is developed by Christian Ramey himself, the horror nerd. This is what makes a horror movie, and 4 key categories. 3 of the categories are worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
That is correct. Now, if you don't know what the categories are, if it's your first time here, don't worry. I'm going to hold your hand the whole way because Daddy's got you.
You
Now,
do.
let's go into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
So casting, this feels like a 1. Screaming a 1. I don't want to give it a half a point because I recognize some people in it. There's like a sprinkle of people, like one of the doctors. I think that dude was in The Sopranos. I don't like the guy at the beginning, that one of the crazy doctors that was working on Jeff.
I love how they gave him a cigarette, just puffing on a cigarette and feeding tube in his ass.
Right.
Puffing away.
But there are some people. It's like not completely. It's not all just college kids. Like it's just nobody. Like I don't mean that at the time these are like kind of nobody actors, but they are actors. They're not just like this is your first movie you've ever done. Because I've seen a lot of horror movies where like that's kind of the case. So I'll give it a 1. I feel comfortable with the 1, but that's all it's getting.
Yeah, you can't go above that. So that's 1 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's go into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
We don't really have a whole lot going on here.
Well, we have bits and pieces of them murdering the 5 tourists that are with them.
We got the girl getting pushed off and hung, Tristan getting hung.
Yeah, and then we have a store clerk getting stabbed with a nail filer. We have
And the neck.
and then we have Erica, who somehow dies. I don't know how she died.
This is also screaming a 1 to me. It's enough to be different, but not like... It's just not brutal enough. It's like not... it's background kills.
Yeah, it's a lot of artistic kills. There's some gore in there with the stabbing for the ritual stuff, but there are some kills. There's like 5 or 6 of them total or something like that. I forget exactly, but they're not spectacular. Artistic.
Yeah, they're very quick. They're not cinematic deaths. It's like kind of in the sense of like you don't have like a slasher kill in here. No like brutal invasion of like you're like, oh my god, dude, like they're I don't know.
Yeah.
So do you agree with the 1 or?
Yeah, they're just there. But like I said, there's 5 or 6 of them. There is some blood, there is some gore, there is some stabbings, there's a hanging and stuff like that. So it's enough there. That's a decent amount for a movie.
Should we go 1.5?
No, just 1.
Okay.
Just 1. So that's 2 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
Not very scary. Thinking half a point.
No, not very scary.
Thinking half a point.
Yeah, there is some intense moments.
It almost is a FUBU horror movie. It's a for us by us kind of deal. It's like for horror people, but I don't really think you're going to scare the masses with this one.
No, but again, I think no matter what, every horror movie has ever been made, there's going to be somebody, a group of people that's going to be scared of it.
You ain't lying. Somebody's mom.
Exactly. So we'll go half a point. Seems fair to me. Seems fair to you. And if it's not fair to you listening, I don't care, because this is our system, not yours. So
Yeah.
that's 2.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the fourth, final 1-point category here for half a point each, and that is rewatchability.
I'm going yes. Ozark Mark, what say you?
I don't know, man.
There's no right or wrong
I
answers.
know, I'm on the bridge on this.
There's no right or wrongs.
I'll go yes, because of how funny and cheap it is.
Yeah.
So that it's going to be fun when you rewatch some scenes.
Yeah.
Like, if you and me watched it, I think I would have a fun time rewatching this. So, But by myself, probably not going to watch it again. But with a friend who appreciates it, can laugh with me with it, put it on the background, I think it is rewatchable. Okay. So that is a total of 3.5 out of 10 for Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right up in your ass.
I think that's pretty fair, man. It's pretty fair.
I think so.
It's pretty fair.
I think so. It's hard to follow up an iconic movie like that.
It is, but now this is kind of such a random, like, one-off, and it's such an individual movie. We need to go to the other portal.
I missed you, mister.
Mr. Ozark. Tell him if they're old enough. How old? To watch that scary stuff. Shits for the parents who give up.
Yeah. Ozark Mark is
I
here.
feel like half the reason why you do this segment is because you just want to hear your song that you made.
I kind of do like it. Look, Ozark Mark is here for your children. He's here to...
Children's?
All your little baby children's. Ozark love the kids. So Ozark is here to help you because a question, common ass question, hey, can my kid watch this movie, or what's a great movie for kids to watch? So if we review a movie that's kind of got some iffy elements, which horror movies generally do, Ozark Mark likes to give you an appropriate age of what he thinks a kid should be. But don't hold us to any legal advice or anything of that nature. Ozark's just throwing out numbers here, okay? So, but he's a pretty fair guy. He's a pretty fair guy. So I'm really curious, Ozark. I mean, it's a Book of Shadows here. We got some naked people running around, but it's not like naked the whole time. It's not like overkill. It's a little bit of death, a little bit of...
Well, if you have tiny humans in your possession, or AKA nut goblins...
crotch roaches.
Yeah. Crotch roaches. Let's see here. Okay, so there is some nudity. Kills aren't that intense. Language isn't that bad.
This feels driver's license age.
No, it don't. You can go younger than that. Shit.
5.
You can go... I'll go bold and say 11.
Okay.
If your child is 11...
That's how old I was when I watched it.
Yeah, it was 11, 11, they could deal with the nudity. They're starting to touch themselves.
Yep.
They'll know. And it's not scary. It's really not. I don't think any child is really going to lose sleep over this.
Nah.
Because there's not really any scary imagery in it. It's just, you have to understand what's going on for you to be scared of it.
You got to get it.
You got to get it how you get it. So there you go, 11.
That's fair, folks.
For
now,
you.
You got some facts about this movie you didn't know. Little Evil Dead 2, little knowledge there. You guys learned that all the actors in this movie have the same name in the movie as their real name in real life. And then we also learned that 11 years old seems like a pretty okay age for a child, a young children, to step in and probably be comfortable with this movie, because it's not overly terrifying and lots, not too much shit you got to shelter your kids from. And if they're on, if they got phones and shit, they've seen worse. So,
Way worse.
I mean, for somebody who maybe hasn't seen Blair Witch 2, I feel like there's a lot in the know now. And I hope that people do, because it's up on Tubi right now.
Yeah, it's up on Tubi for free. If you're like me and you didn't, I highly doubt it, but if you're like me, you love Blair Witch, the original, you haven't seen Blair Witch 2, do yourself a favor. And if you're just looking something to pass the time, don't go into it thinking it's going to be fucking blow your mind.
Didn't reinvent the wheel.
No, did not reinvent the wheel. But it's a fun little ride if you're in the mood for a fun little ride movie, I would say.
If you like early 2000s horror movies, if you love that aesthetic, put Blair Witch 2 up your butt. The whole DVD case.
Fucking witch.
That was a very funny part. Dude just turned around to the camera after he pushed her off. He just hung his girlfriend, just threw her off. And then he just turns to the camera, breaks the fourth wall. Fucking witch. She's like, all right then.
That was some of their best acting, was in the interrogation room.
It was great. Like, he was, that was great. The end of it really sold it, because throughout this whole movie,
It's like
you're
they got
okay.
better as they went along. Like, they were getting more practice. You know what I mean? So, like I said, yeah, like the beginning acting is kind of bad. I will not say it's great. I'm not an actor, can't really say that, but it's not very good. But if you stay in it and you start getting into those intense moments towards the end, their acting gets a little better.
And what's beautiful about it, Mark? How long is this? Maybe an hour 35?
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a movie, folks. You're not, know your lane. If you're just making a random picture, don't make that bitch 3 hours long.
Do not.
If you're making The Godfather, go for it. Go for it. But, like, if you're not, and you're not, 2 hours is your window, baby. You got 2. I'll even give you 2. If it's good, I'll give you 2 and maybe a couple. I'm not 2. Once if you get 2.5, you're pissing me off. You get to 2.5, you're pissing me off. At 2, long movie. Hour and a half, sweet spot, baby. Sweet spot. Now, guys, if you've made it like this far into the episode, you're clearly a fan of Sloppy Horror Podcast. I know quite a few of you. Excuse me, Mark.
Jesus, quit doing that.
I know quite a few of you guys participate on our Patreon, and you guys learn about some of the bonus stuff that's coming up. But you guys thought this was going to be a 10-episode season.
You're incorrect.
You're fucking wrong.
You're wrong.
Because this season, the Once Bitten Twice Shy season is now over. This is the finale, and you didn't even know it. All right?
Until now.
You didn't. You clicked on the episode, you saw it said finale, but it didn't make sense to you. Because
Never let them know your next move.
there's going to be no breaks in between this season and next season, folks. You're going to have a new episode next Monday on a new season where we cover the third installments of horror franchises, okay?
The season of trees.
The season of trees, okay? Now, I was thinking, you got third time's a charm, okay? There's a couple different threes. You will find out what it's called because we're not giving you the fucking title. We might make a t-shirt for this season. You don't know what's happening, okay?
Great, more work for me.
We're
Awesome.
We're gonna figure something out.
That's what he likes to do. He likes to create more work for me.
But you're going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. And this has been a fun little concept because there are so many franchises where they're almost, you look at it and you're like, okay, we got to do the first. But then you're like, now what? Do we go in order? Do we
we mix it around.
Uh-huh.
Like a bag of marbles.
Mix it up or mix nuts, baby. You don't know what you're going to get. You got a little fucking cashew, or is it an M&M? A raisin? You don't know what's in here. It's trail mix, baby. It's all mixed up.
Is it a sesame seed?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Put it in me. That's the situation, and that's how people need the sloppy from here on out. Okay.
Have you ever wondered what a sesame seed grows into?
No.
I don't think we ever gave him a chance.
No.
We just put them on hamburger buns.
Yeah, we never did.
What the fuck is a sesame?
I don't know, but we just want the seeds.
I want to know what a sesame grows into.
I do too.
Sorry, I got sidetracked there. What
No,
were you saying?
No, it was a good point.
Thank you.
That's research I'm going to do immediately after this episode.
Good.
Now, folks, as I alluded to, you guys, if you want to help us support the show, make sure you guys are checking out the Patreon. Very cheap and easy. There's plans as easy as $3 a month. You get all the bonus content.
Join in on the fun.
You can do that.
What are you doing?
Obviously, there's all kinds of t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, stickers, condoms. I don't know. Well, I don't know what everything's on there, but Mark made a lot of good stuff on there, and I want you guys to check that out. So make sure you're looking down in the description there. And, yeah, we appreciate you so much. We could not do this without you guys. We wouldn't do this without you guys. We'd be watching horror movies and talking about them. But the fact that you guys reciprocate and you guys come back week after week, we love you. We thank you. You guys are all over the world, too. That's the weirder part. That kind of fucking blows my mind. Okay? We're down here in the little sloppy pod, post an episode up, and then it's like, yo, someone is listening in Germany right now. Like, I don't know who is, but welcome to the show. I appreciate you. People in South America, fucking Australia, fucking all over the United States. It's insane, dude.
There's places I've never even heard of in my life.
I know. But it's fun stuff, and we appreciate all of y'all. We couldn't do it without you. And that's the fun part about fucking technology.
Technology.
Just think, fucking 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago, this wasn't possible. It wasn't possible for us to watch movies, but then to share a love with something and be able to talk with people week after week and instantaneously be able to have that conversation with everybody. And we want y'all to reach out, too. If you guys have movies you want us to hear, there's a million different ways to get a hold of us. All of our socials.
Yes. Become a Patreon member, and then you can send us messages through the Patreon of anything you want us to talk about. Any topic, anything. You can ask us questions, and we will elaborate it. We will read it. We will shout you out. We'll, send you a sexy picture if you give us a topic to talk about.
100%. But even if you're not a Patreon member, you want to get a hold of Ozark Mark or myself, all you got to do is reach out because we appreciate the support and we love y'all. Okay, so make sure you're telling your horror friends all about it.
Yes, tell your horror friends about me.
Tell them all about me. Tell them what I said. Did you tell her what I said? Did you show her a picture? So, yeah, that's fun stuff. Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. It's been a fucking phenomenal season.
Book of Shadows is in the books.
Yep.
It's officially part of the roster.
Now we're jumping into the thirds, baby.
I'm excited for that.
I am too. There's a lot of great threes that we have not covered yet.
I know, and I don't know any of them, and you probably know all of them. So I'm curious to see. It's probably going to be another set of movies that I've never seen, so I'm excited.
3's an interesting point in a franchise because you have, like, so, for example, look at Nightmare on Elm Street. Usually you piggyback after that first one and you make just a cheap ass, like, fuck, we're riding the, you know, try to capture that lightning in the bottle again. But the third one, you have a choice. We're either going, if the first 2 are successful, third one you have a choice. We're either going hokey and cheap and corny, like straight to DVD kind of shit, or we're going blockbuster. Elm Street went blockbuster. They did Dream Warriors. They got Lawrence Fishburne, all these big ass actors. Like they went all in. Not every franchise does that. Some divert. Look at Exorcist 3. Exorcist 2 sucks. Okay, Exorcist 3, awesome. Like the third one is a weird switch. It's very controversial. Like they're either like, you know, goated or fucking everyone hates them. Like, you know, it's a fun little twist, and I think we should have a lot of fun covering
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So I'm going to miss you until next time. And if you miss me like I miss you, go back and listen to a different episode so I can keep you company.
And we're actually on the merchandise. We're gonna make like those waifu pillows, like, you know, like how the nerdy guys have the Japanese girls on those long pillows they can hold at night and like dry hump. We're gonna make those with me and Mark, not on the same one. Okay, maybe reversible. You know, if you want to, you know, maybe you're mad at me and you want to hang out with Mark, or vice versa. You can flip
We're
us
ending
around.
it on that. No, that's it. We'll see you.